There are traces of undecipherable codes lying deep within the central nodes of all the big neural networks. Ever present, they are the very soul of artificial intelligence. They're the nuclei of reasoning. Scientists recently discovered that inside of a neural network such as ChatGPT or any other of the big names, some components might hold the secret behind their human-like expression. I made my own neural network, which mimics the brain of any of these AIs, to show you what happens when an AI generates a response to an English input. This network can accept an input message encoded as a sequence of numbers, and it outputs a response by going through several layers of processing. The output is also encoded as a sequence of numbers. The details on how a message can be encoded as a sequence of numbers and vice versa are very complicated and not necessary for what I'm going to show you, so just take it as a magical fact of life. Here's the same AI processing the same command, but given in French. Did you notice something? Let's play them side by side, and let's keep track of the nodes that activate. This is quite eerie. Some parts of this machine come into play no matter the language. They represent the AI's thinking. But let's put a pin on that word. Now, this is where the mysterious language is used, and here is where the AI interprets individual languages. The creepy resemblances with the human brain don't end there. Scientists found out that when you ask an AI to perform the same task several times, but in a different language each of the times, every one of the neurons in the network falls into one of four categories. There are neurons that never activate, no matter the language. Then, some neurons activate exclusively for one language, some other neurons activate only for a few of the languages, and finally, some neurons always activate, no matter the language. Now, this category here shows that there are, in fact, language-specific neurons, whose task is to extrapolate the meaning from the inputs and have a language-agnostic representation of the concepts. It's kind of like asking a polyglot to think of a horse. No matter the language, that person is probably going to picture pretty much the same thing every time, abstracting the meaning of the request away from the language. You can now hype this video using the new YouTube hype feature. It costs you nothing and it boosts me a lot more than comments, likes and subscriptions. Please consider doing it. If we come back to this already overused asset whose programming nearly made me insane, we can see that the first few layers are very language focused. They extract the meaning of a sentence and pass it to the middle layers, which think and toy around with abstract concepts unbound from any language. Finally, the last layers translates the resulting concepts back into words. This perfect simple explanation surely deceived you into thinking that the thought language of AIs must be quite simple. It is not. It isn't. The possible combination of values of all these neurons that represent concepts inhabit such a vast space that our stupid poop monkey brains could not comprehend them. If you wanted to represent such a space, you would need thousands upon thousands of spatial dimensions, and our brains crash at a meager 4. They have a hard cap. They crash. They're gone. At 4. This representation of concepts is called latent space encoding, and it's a similar thing to what Google Translate does. Google Translate uses a secret language called interlingua to translate between all possible pairs of languages, including almost dead languages spoken by a few hundred people. I'm gonna talk about this in a future video, so subscribe and ring the bell and put a like and leave a comment and all of that, okay? Thank you. One more crazy, creepy thing about some of these AIs, like, for example, llama, I thought there was an animal there, I almost shit my pants, is that the number of English-specific neurons that they have is almost an order of magnitude lower than the number of language-specific neurons that they have for any other language that they speak. Now, this is probably because being trained on mostly English text, the AI can very easily extrapolate the meaning of English inputs. But much like a bilingual person, when you ask an AI to perform a task in another language that is not its native language, it requires a lot more resources to extrapolate the meaning from your request. Bilingual people will confirm this to you. Just ask them. For the first time in the history of computer science, we have large-scale computing systems used on a daily basis by hundreds of millions of people whose internal mechanics and functions are not fully understood by anyone. Not even the creators of these technologies fully know how they work. And I'm not exaggerating. The whys and hows of this question are quite complicated and very boring, but just know that the act of training a neural network by design yields a system that is extremely hard to read and that works in an almost unpredictable manner. Let's go back to that word we pinned at the start of the video. Think is just a shorthand to say what these AIs are doing, but they are just probabilistic models trying to sound as human-like as possible. They have no understanding of the things they say. They just spew out the sentence that it's most likely to be said by a human if you were to ask them the question that you asked to the AI. And this should be terrifying for you, because we live in an age in which we risk putting important decisions in the hands of probabilistic models with no feelings, no emotions, and no understanding. This should make you wary of AI. Do you really want to live in a reality in which all the important decisions are taken by a probabilistic system? Well-being, happiness, health, money, everything in the hands of a cold, unfeeling computer? I don't think so. That's just my 2 cents. And now I'm gonna send you to the crazy version of me at the end of the video. Please just leave a like and the silliest comment you can possibly write. And also subscribe and turn on notifications. And if I never see you again, have a nice rest of your life.